Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new edition of Women Matters of the Wegst Factory. We are coming together to talk about important topics out of the perspective of women, and we are the core team here. That's myself, Heidi Hörnlein. You see Adelheid Hörnlein, this is my birth name, but normally people call me Heidi, and I'm in Italy, and I'm the co-founder of the Wegst Factory and of Paradiso Integrale, which is our place here, and also a non-profit. And I'm together with, who wants to begin?
I'm happy to jump in. I'm Tammy. I'm living in what's known as Vancouver, in North America. And I am a conversational experimenter, an interlocutor. I love what happens in the space between people when we share each other authentically and really look at what might bring us together.
Thank you. And we are doing this together and about 4 or 5 times. Thank you. And who of you wants to come next?
Well, I'm Monika. I'm living in Bavaria in Germany, and my profession is a teacher and a consultant. Well, and I'm happy to meet up with ladies like you here and grow our wisdom. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for helping us to grow the wisdom.
My name is Gertraud Wegst. I'm living north of Frankfurt in Germany, and I'm one of 8 coaches, trainers, consultants, and our mission is to be a source of appreciation for people and organizations worldwide.
Okay, thank you. So everybody has a little bit of impression who...
Profession and passion.
Okay, yeah. I think we are all passionate about what we are doing, otherwise we wouldn't be here together exploring the field. Today, the topic is exploring each other and weaving a field. And I would over to you, Tammy. You have created the title to explain what you mean by that.
So I thought we would just spend some time together exploring each other and looking to continue to weave this group field that we've been developing together. So I thought we might get a bit more specific about our dreams, our passions, our hopes, our skills, and really open that space where we can look at how we can help each other. And I thought that I would encourage everyone to bring an object that might represent or symbolize a snapshot of your passion or your intention. So I would invite, first of all, has everyone had a chance to, did you all have a chance to consider an object that might represent some of your passion or your work, just as an entry point?
I could, I don't have the object here, but we are the object. What we are doing is really one of my passions. I must say I have several passions. It's not only one. This is very much predominant at the moment. You can say I have parallel passions and also serial passions. So, for instance, my voice exploration, voice teaching, voice development thing, that was for 20 years my passion. Then, it's shifted. And moment, what you see here, that's my passion.
Okay. Should I go on?
Wonderful.
So, very spontaneously, I found my object of what my passion is right now. It's this tiny little Android. Can you see it? symbolizes all the electric and data stuff we are doing right now, working with PC, with mobile phones, growing communities, getting in contact. And this tiny little thing is always with me because it's a USB stick, see? So that's kind of a talisman. I don't know whether you say this word in English as well. So my passion is being online, getting connected with people worldwide, and I would like to leverage it for a homepage and for giving some instructions about how to use Google, all kinds of Google stuff, and how to run your business on maps. So Google My Business. So that would be my field where I want to grow in much more. Yeah. And the little Android is helping me.
Wonderful. Gertraud? You're muted, Gertraud.
Good. I didn't read it, so it's a bit spontaneous, but this first of all, 2012, I created the mission in German. Sorry, it's what I said before, being source of appreciation for people and organizations. And this is hanging on my wall over my desk, and those butterflies go with it. So it's not about hard work, but it's about inspiration, vision, working together, supporting each other, and yeah, with ease and lightness and love and appreciation. So
appreciation, yes. We appreciate you, we appreciate all of you, and that you are coming to do these talks with us. And that we can reach other women to be inspired by what we're doing. And invite them to join us. I mean, give us comments, and even if they want to join into the conversation, connect with us.
Wonderful. And I'm not seeing, are you guys hearing me fine? Yeah, okay. So I have 2 items, but I'm not seeing my video go on to, are you seeing me? Anyways, so I have 2 items here. Oh, this is upside down. One is the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and I found these 2 items in a free box outside of a thrift store, and they really inspired me. Number one, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, our fundamental freedoms here in Canada include the freedom of conscience. Our first freedom is the freedom of conscience and religion, so the freedom to believe what we believe, and I think that it would be interesting to dive into broadly citizens here in what's known as Canada's conscience, because I think that that's a very rich subject. But our second freedom is the freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom of the press and other media of communication. And I'm just trying to, I'm hearing there's some sound issues on my end, but I'm not really able to see where to manage that. So I'll just go on. I think that it's the sovereign right of people to share their thoughts, ideas, opinion, and express themselves is critical. And so this work that we're doing together in communicating together is a beautiful space to be able to empower ourselves and to present some of the thoughts that we have together in an exploratory open development that can become more clear as we walk down the path together. This frisbee here, which I'm sad to inform has a little break in it, which is very sad for me because it's a, it's a symbol. So, but it's a symbol of in a conversation, you kind of throw your idea out, and someone will catch it or not. And there's a level of trust in that, and there's a level of showing up for that moment, and that in that exchange, it's just as important that someone throw the frisbee or that piece of the conversation well enough for someone else to catch it, and that the other person who's catching it and receiving it is able to. And so there's a beautiful interplay that I think that happens between people that I'm excited to think of from the perspective of the frisbee. How do I throw it well, and how do I catch it well? So how well do I articulate, and how well do I listen? And so those are some of the inner thoughts that I have that, yeah, these are two symbols of meaning for me. One in personal sovereignty and in taking responsibility for myself and presenting myself as a soul, but also how to both share and listen.
This is a wonderful picture you are giving, and I'm wondering if with this throwing the frisbee, when you see all the lines going across and so on, is this what you mean with field, or could you talk a little bit more about the notion of the field, because not everybody might know what that means.
Great. Well, I suppose what I mean is that together in any group, there's a sense of togetherness, of what we are together. And so in building a group field together, I think that there's an opportunity for us to show up as who we are and what we are in such a way to invite others to show up how they are. So in creating a field, in a sense, what you're doing is creating a sense of trust together and a space of deep listening. And I love the tools that Gertraud brings with appreciation, and because and also obviously what you bring, Heidi, in holding this space, and in that listening and guidance that you have, and so that field, that which we are together, is something very, I think it's magical, I think it's beautiful, I think it's a space where we can springboard from. So the field for me is that space between us that is sometimes intangible, but we all feel it.
Yeah, thank you. And I think we can also add that the field can be created. It is created by every one of us, and it can get stronger and weaker according to what our input is and how we are inside the field.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I would like to comment on what was just said. It seems the noise is now on my side. This morning we have a monthly call, 7 o'clock in the morning, third Wednesday in the month. Storytelling or power stories. So some of us, so people come or not, they're two facilitators and people share their stories, and then we listen into and see the jewels and everything that makes it juicy. Why is it such a good story? What are the success factors or whatever we share among each other? And this morning we talked about that there are three things necessary. This is the one who tells the story, and story means that an event or something that happened to tell other people. So it could be a very short one, it could be a longer one, it could be a novel or a short story, whatever. But they have something that somebody tells it with the intention that it lands on the other side. What you said about the frisbee, I throw the frisbee so somebody else can catch it. So this is my intention. Maybe I'm not so good in it, but this is my intention. And then on the other side, there is the listener, the one who receives it. And the listening is twofold. It's like what I'm listening from, meaning what do I have as attitude when I do that. I'm saying the one doesn't want to cheat me or anything. They don't want to tell me stories, but a good story, and I'm willing to receive it in a appreciative attitude. And I'm listening for what do they want to say? What does he or what is the intention behind it? What are the jewels in it, or the nuggets in the mud? Even if it's not said very well. And then there is the third part, and that is the space around it, the safe space where emotional safety is in, this space in which that can occur, and that needs. There are some people that don't need it. They just can tell their story no matter who is listening and where. And there are some listeners that find gold in anything. And there's people that are pretty lousy in holding space, but others are really, they live that. They are that space in which others can occur. So these three need to be together, and the better one part is, the less the others are needed in perfection or in really good shape. But it's like the three dancing together. And that was what we were talking about this morning when I shared my power story about, or our power story about unity and diversity. And the funny thing is that by sharing it, it revitalizes it. So I was like somebody asked, were you in a submarine in July? And was, and now talking about it, and it comes back, and I can have a better connection to it, and now go to the next steps and reconnect with the others, write an article about it, and things like that. Share about what came out of unity and diversity. So that's what I wanted to share. And when you talked about the frisbee, it was like, yeah, that's what we have been talking about, and that's a real great symbol.
Thank you for sharing that. And I find it so very important that things are spoken out, because they become a new reality and they become a deeper reality. When we only think about things, writing is already good. But if we have listeners to listen, and in this space, there is a possibility that some new aspects come up, and we get a deeper understanding of what we are saying. And this is also the reason why we are doing this here, to talk with each other, and we get a different perspective on ourselves, on the world, on the others, and everything. Thank you.
And I just would love to, one of the pieces I love that Monika said was around wisdom. So Monika, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts about because I think part of what we're creating together is a space for wisdom to emerge, and that's such a critical piece. And so I would just invite you to share a little bit about that.
You mean about my wisdom? That I've grown so far in my life? Well, or I think I should be more focused. What kind of wisdom are you looking for? Or I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Yeah, at the beginning, it just inspired me as I was thinking these different pieces that we bring to the table.
Yeah.
And it really struck me how important, because I think what we're building towards is wisdom, right? And so perhaps I have a sense of you as being not shy exactly to share your wisdom, but I think that we all kind of have to push against this place where we have this beautiful thing to offer, but we don't want to beat our chests.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, you mentioned it. I'm holding it back a little bit. That's true. Yeah. Well, maybe it's due to my personal development of the last years, but I'm on the starting point to step out of it. I can be there and say, hello, here I am. So the wisdom, just a few pieces of my wisdom I've collected so far, without any connections to anything, just what's coming into my mind, is that life is always for you, supporting you. So whatever happens to you, there is something in it, there is an inner peace in it to give you support. So the art of wisdom is to find this. So if you are upset about something and angry or desperate about something, there is something in it what provides benefits for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, always. Yes. Because the universe is for human beings. The universe is not beating against mankind. It's supporting mankind. We should just find out how the universe is supporting us. Mm-hmm. And it's supporting in little pieces. Just find the gems. Well, and when I was hit by my illness, by cancer, after this first survival, I started to think about what is it good for. So that's a challenge to ask, what is cancer good for? In my case, it gave me the direction of what I have to learn in my life. Still, I'm still learning, and that is setting boundaries. So I was living without boundaries. I was always here for everybody. Well, that's predestination for a teacher. You are always here for your students. Especially with the little ones, the first graders, you cannot say, oh, I have to think for 5 minutes. Wait. No, the 6-year-old children won't wait. They have to get their problems solved in this moment. So that's my profession, to be there, but it was a kind of personality. And what I forgot about this is to set boundaries or a personal space and say, so stop, that's me now. So that's what I'm trying to figure out and to find and to rely on. You know, with the cancer, my fundamental beliefs have been swiped off. So I'm gaining new feet to stand on, kind of, to gain new self-esteem, and that's what the universe sent to me.
Yes.
And with this cancer, the doctor said to me, "Yeah, you have chosen the nicest one." So I said, "Thank you." So I really got the chance to live on with it, and that's the chance to go on this development. Yeah, that's one gem of wisdom.
Beautiful. And Monika, I just want to thank you so much for that. And as you were speaking, I was really thinking about the fact that wisdom comes from dealing with challenges. It comes from really doing that inner work. And so I really want to honor the work that you have done to be able to hold that space for yourself and to model that for others.
Yeah. And I'm on my way. I'm not ready with it. I haven't reached the goal yet. But with you ladies, it's a really wonderful community.
I want to jump in. I want to say we never reach a goal.
Yeah.
We're always on the way.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm really very often desperate. I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but really, we never reach a goal. Thank you. That's the
I
next gem of wisdom.
I was writing a blog post today, or in a response to somebody. This is the difference between the masculine and the feminine way. The masculine has to reach the goal, which they has pre-stabilized. This is the goal, and I have to go there, whatever it costs. I have to go there. And the feminine way is I go and see where it takes me. I have a direction, but it's never like this. It's always a little bit, because we have the eyes and the ears open and listen what is here and what is here and what is here. My masculine way is bang,
Yeah.
So that is very important to realize that, because before I realized that, I thought there is something wrong with me because I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And when I realized that the feminine way is just different, and that we need the feminine way and stand to our possibility or our ability to embody the feminine way more easily than men do, we really should stop to imitate men in their thing, but become confident that our way will bring us there. Although we don't see the goal all the time there. We only know the direction. We feel the direction is right, and we go on.
Yeah, it's immediately. It makes it free. It's just like, whoo.
That was for me when I heard that about, it's more than 6 years ago, and then I took the feminine power courses, first a 7-week course and then 2 years coach training and everything, because this was opening for me the ability that I'm not completely wrong, that it was like this, like, I need to learn more about that, and since then I have done a big transformation into much more self-confidence. I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't have done the things which I'm doing now without this teaching, without this recognition of feminine ways of doing which are different than masculine ways of doing, and that I can do it without needing to think that's not right, it's not good enough. What I always was told from childhood on, it was not good enough because it was not the right way. Okay, that's so for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess part of what I'm wanting to hold space. I love that piece around how our genders show up, and for myself, I have a sense of a blend. There's a party going on at Monica's.
Yeah, it's mine. Sorry. Just a second. We'll be right back.
Great. So yeah, for myself, I know I present as a woman and that I biologically am, but I have have a big sense of myself as a male energy, and so it's a bit of a cognitive dissonance, I suppose. But I do see that we carry we carry both. For myself, I perceive that I carry both genders in how I operate in the world, and I think that it's valuable to have that sense of focus. Oh, there's the deer, there's that goal, but also that this space holding and this sensitivity is also, I mean, that's a really critical part of what we bring, and I think that mix is important to find, to be able to be clear and focused and have that direction, and yet enough openness to allow us to all show up as we are.
Tammy, I totally agree with that. It was only so that my own experience, it was never really recognized the feminine way as a possibility. So I tried to do the masculine way. I'm very good in the masculine way, by the way, because what I trained for 50 years or more. But to recognize that it is not wrong when I can't do it in certain circumstances, and that in certain circumstances it's better to use the other way. I'm really agreeing with you that I think sign of development is when we can embody both of them and have the wisdom, coming back to wisdom, in which situation we need one and in which situation we need the other. Because only feminine energy and feminine ways of doing, only masculine way of doing, we have seen where it leads to, no, for sure. So it is not one or the other. It's for me, it's a combination of the two, and if you're able to do that, and as I say, have the wisdom to decide when to be in what mode, then it's perfect. And I admire that you have this capacity. Great.
Well, I'm growing it. I'm, and I really feel like I've had a lot of beautiful models. In particular, like you're saying, Heidi, we've, as women, in many ways, we've had to learn how to hold the same space as men in pushing our way into being seen, and so we've all had to kind of, I think, model that in different ways. So that's grown our ability to be able to function, but I think it's really important to have that balance.
Absolutely.
Gertraud, I'm feeling you jumping in.
Yeah, I don't have any answers to this. I think developing both and seeing who am I. It's not to distinguish, am I more feminine or am I more masculine, more like what is that unique mixture that wants to emerge, that wants to express in the world. Sometimes it's more the hunt the deer focus part, and sometimes it's more mother nursing her baby part. To have that, and if I'm able to have both developed and feel what mixture is mine, and I had the feeling that for myself, sure, I was a mother, I'm still am, but nursing and taking care of the babies, but somehow only in the connection with the kids, but I was more the feminine mother part, but somehow I was very much trained in that other part. So I feel it was more like it was separate. It was here I have my babies and I cuddle and nurse and do whatever, and then I was leading for nursing homes at that time afterwards, or no, I was in a whatever. At least I had a full-time job. And there it was like, now you have to be masculine. And it didn't come together. It was kind of, this part doesn't have anything to do with the other part. And more I feel connected. I have both abilities, but more, I don't know. I feel more feminine now as I was when I really was a mother, caring for the kids. And because I needed to feed them, and my husband was still studying and so on. So this is like, there's nothing is better than the other. It's more like, if it's not in balance and if it doesn't have the right mixture that is inherent and adequate for myself, then it's funny. I have a friend who is transsexual, and for 50 years she didn't dare to say she's actually a woman. And when she came out, I mean, before it was just it was a nice man, but not much, like no beaming outside. And now that she even got operated. It's such a beautiful woman of, I don't know, 50 something, 52 or so, and so full in her. And on Facebook she shows the pastry she did, or the cakes she made, or her new dress. Things. It's like now she's herself. And she has all the other capabilities. She's CEO of a company, so it's yeah. I think it's just, who am I, and what is the real expression of who I am, and how can I do that, and what is adequate to that self. So that's my 2 cents.
I like the idea of the mixture, Gertraud, and getting the two parts in balance. That's it. And sometimes the one and sometimes the other part is more present, more dominant, but on the whole, it should be your balance, your own balance.
I really agree with that, and I think what we also need is to empower other women to find that, to come out of the only women thing. I was looking today, I was writing a blog post, and I was looking in Pixabay for pictures with women, and I was, I didn't really find a picture for what I wanted to. It is about women step up, show up. There was almost nothing. There was shoes, high shoes, and sexy positions. Oh, I have here I seem to be sexy for her today. She's making me. So I was so disappointed that it seems the main culture, what is connected with women, is still this sex object thing, and ha 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 ha, the joy stuff only. And that is, we are in many ways a sort of an exception, trying to find this, who am I really? And I think with that comes the sort of obligation to spread the news that you can be a woman, and even a more full woman, when you give up the stereotypical things and when you embrace both parts of you. That's what I think. And I thank you that you are collaborating with this, because I think many of these issues are still so ingrained in our patriarchal heritage, and for most of us. So we are fortunate that we have arrived to this point where we can say we have both of us and we can balance it. Most people have not, and when women just step out and become the achiever, success person, they sort of, me included in the past, negate the feminine part, and push it away. And then I think where we were and are is to reintegrate both. When we have learned the masculine part, then that we come back to integrate the feminine part, and it will be different. It won't be anymore about the newest dress and the how high are the heels and how sexy am I today. This is part of it, but it won't be concentrated on this anymore when we don't see ourselves anymore through the lens of being a sexual attraction for I don't know who. Maybe for ourselves, because we want to satisfy a picture of us. We should be like in a women's journal or something like this.
So as we show up and kind of go a little bit deeper into, like, I love how this conversation is just really emerging to look at that inner balance as a basis to spring from. And I just wanted to really dive in with you ladies into a little bit of hopes, dreams, and visions. And I guess I'll preface that with a sense that so many of us all around the world are looking at the state of the world today. We're looking at these global challenges. We're seeing and doing the work in our communities to bring what we can to the party, and I think it's useful. And part of what I'm hoping to explore and experience through these podcasts is how can we begin to look in the same direction together? How can we articulate some of the visions and the hopes and the dreams we have so that they can be known, so they can be shared, so they can be further developed with wisdom and appreciation and presence and listening and holding space. So I wanted to invite us all to share a little bit about what visions and hopes and dreams we are working towards.
Would you like to begin?
Sure, I'm happy to. So I am working towards creating models for people to empower themselves and explore visions, hopes, and dreams. So this is an exact tiny model of what I'm leaning into and dreaming into. And it's because I believe that we all have natural wisdom. We all have knowledge and skills and abilities, and yet we're embedded in this world that has, I would say, gone off the rails a little bit. And so as a starting place, I think that we need to, begin to clearly observe from the perspectives that we have to create a tapestry of thinking, a tapestry of explorations together about what is actually going on, what are the critical challenges, how can we show up to meet them, and how can we help each other to be able to do that in a way that feels good and helps and includes the things we bring to the table and the value that we inherently have as human beings making a contribution in our communities and more broadly for the world. So I have a dream and a vision about I've called it a distributed documentary. So a way for us to be able to be continuously generative to add to conversations, small conversations that include diverse voices about the challenges that we face so that we can better understand our context, the conditions that have given rise to that, and the conditions that are required to be able to create bridges from the world where we're in to the world that we know is to worlds we know is possible in our hearts. And I feel like we need models for that. We need to show and share these different pieces of knowledge, wisdom, protocols, processes, and then just kick the tires and try them, so that we can find the better ways to be able to truly hold space. You know, in this moment, I feel like I'm talking a little bit too long, right? But it's to be really sensitive to what it is in the group and to sense into that collective field to know, it's time for me to pass the mic. That's what I've got.
May I jump in? Yes. Okay. So you were talking about models. Just a thought. Heidi told us about the goal. You remember that we never reach a goal. That would be a piece of model. Well, today this is my takeaway. A piece of model that we have goals and we need goals, but we never reach the goals. So that would be a model for the world as well. But where to go? And so my vision would be, for me, for my person, or for everybody, what part would I contribute for reaching the goal in the world, for reaching, what could I give to other persons for reaching their goals? How could I support other persons? And it's not necessary to really reach a goal, but be on the way, on a good way to go there. So that's my vision. So I told in the beginning that I'm trying to set up a home page with different tools on it, and the context of this would be, how can I support other people to reach their goals? That's it, what I would give via my homepage. That's my vision.
Wonderful.
Thank you for thank you for listening.
Yeah, this is wonderful. Gertraud, your vision?
There is something like, be the change you want to have in the world, or being future too, or being already what I think should change, or what needs to be. Or so you said model. For me, it's even more. It's like, not here am I and there is my goal, but I have an intention. And you said, Tammy, you said looking in the right in the same direction. It's like having a shared intention. And in Unity and Diversity, it was midwifing a system of influence that nurtures, celebrates, and energizes work that matters and enlivens. And I couldn't say it better. It's like being part of this that wants to emerge. Not I'm doing it and I need to direct people to do that. but being part of that and moving in the same direction that this future emerges in a way that it's already there. So I'm standing in this future. So I'm not distant. I'm not separate from that. And so there is no goal to reach, nowhere to go. There is only being in the moment with that intention. And the second part for me, and this is like the system of influence, only happens when there's connection between people and organizations and initiatives. And so it's like this web, that is woven in a way that it has the strengths all together, not single people that are leaders and like Alexander the Great maybe leading to catastrophe. And we have some leaders that we can see today that want to have that old time back. And I think Ken Wilber talks about divine pride. So it's not beating my chest, but being part of that. Wow, that wants to happen. I mean, it's like, and maybe I'm blind on one side, but for me, without appreciation, it doesn't work. Without this connection and having others, so the otherness of the other is welcome. And everybody's contributing to the whole, and everything gets done. So there's so much, without neglecting what's so. I think that's crucial for me. It's not pink sauce over what's not working. Really a clear sight on what's not working, and then deciding what to do, and in an appreciative way. I have a say in who I am and what I'm doing and in which I'm reacting. But it doesn't mean that everything is great. So, but to have that, maybe it's like crazy, you know? It's like, look at the world, look at the news, and you have to begin concerned. Yes, I am. And there is this joy of being part of that new world that occurs. It's already there. I mean, you just have to connect the dots. And Ben is doing it from the Unity University. There's somebody who is already doing this, connecting the dots on a Kumu map, that you can see it, what's in the world already. And that's what I love to be, and I love to have the connections and creating safe space and supporting people to appreciate themselves and others and go out in this way. So, and my bigger part is in the business part, because I think business counts in that new way. So when business changes, a lot more can change. And that's my
Okay,
my challenge.
I will take what you said about connection. That connection is, you need to have connection to create that what you want to reach for your vision. And I think I'm sort of a basic worker with that, because I think that connection is created by appreciation, yes, but appreciation is already a communication tool. For me, the most crucial thing, what needs to change for that we can become a thriving world is communication. When you notice how often we miscommunicate, even aware people like us, you know, and how often we interpret things which are not there. And we are already sort of alert to that, and you know, and other people are not. So for me, what needs to be done is really a awareness training of how we communicate, how we are with each other, because most relationship problems come out of misunderstandings or misinterpretations, and so is wars. You know, whatever is a conflict in the world, in your inner space, in your family space, or in your community or in the world, for me, it's mostly dependent, not about facts, but about communication. And so for me, it's the most important thing to learn about how I communicate and how unclear I am, how I'm misinterpreting other people's movements, other people's words, other people's whatever, you know, and from there inspire others to see that too, and to become more clear in the communication, you know, and don't, for instance, what most people do, they don't say anything if something doesn't go well, and then they swallow it down, and after a while then they explode and everything goes in pieces, you know. What we need to learn is to be immediately, and it has a little bit to do what you say, Monika, set boundaries at the right moment and say, no, that's not okay. What do you mean with that? What you have said just now, instead of thinking, oh, he has said that, oh, that means, oh, and now he has offended me. Maybe he just said something which was not at all that what you're saying. So before we go into our inner stories, you know, which are like we say earworm in German, which go on and on and on, stop and say, what do you mean? What is exactly what you wanted to tell me? No? And we were talking about that before. For me, this is the basic thing of almost everything. And I personally have the fortune, the luck to have Mark here with whom I can practice that, and you guys and other people, and this is wonderful. And my vision is to bring it out to people, to become this awareness of their, let's say, lack in communication skills. So it's my vision to create peace by getting people, especially couples, into a state of comprehension, of understanding each other and letting each other be, and understand their own part of conflict creation and let that go, and from there going into the world. Because for me, if the people who are fighting and are so mad in the world, if they had a good family life, they wouldn't be so mad. That's my little part on it. We are quite on time now, so I would like to ask you if there is some thing you want to say without saying it, you would be unhappy.
I'm going to take a page out of Gertraud's book and say thank you. I have so much appreciation for every person, and I've really learned a lot more. I mean, this is our fifth segment, so we are learning about each other, but today I feel like I was able to really get a depth of purpose and spirit and what you carry in, and I'm inspired, so just so much appreciation for what everyone has brought today.
Thank you, Tammy. I join you in the appreciation. I'm really grateful that you're here, guys, girls.
Yes, I second that. And for me, those calls are really something that doesn't happen often, to come together in a way that lets the subject unfold without knowing before what the goal is or what to achieve, or even not with what are next steps, things like that. So it's really like this space unfolding, and I love that, and I love to go on and see what wants to emerge and how that can serve us and also other people that might listen, or from we come back to in another way after an hour together. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, that's mine too. We come together with very open minds, and in the beginning we are not knowing where it would lead us, but we have a very deep knowledge and belief that there will be something precious coming out of our meetings. And I've got a model. I created a model. I will draw it a little bit better. I made notes and made a model of what we have created right now, each of us, and that's wonderful. Thank you very much for being here, for being you.
Yeah, for me, this is amazing how these conversations unfold, and this is where I'm passionate about, to know more or less what we want to talk about, but then co-create the space, co-create the conversation. This is what I understand about co-creation. And I think this is where the real wisdom can appear. I don't want to say that we are wise girls now, but we are contributing to the emergence of wisdom. I'm not
sure we are.
Oh yeah, we are wise old women.
Yes. See my color.
Yeah, sure. That's what it is. So thank you very much, and we will meet again in 2 or 3 weeks. And join us. Who is listening, who is watching now or later, join us and come back. And whatever you want to communicate with us, write it. Okay? So bye-bye. See you soon.